YouTube. I was planning on making this a video on how to install the STOLZ big brake kit for the Elantra N. However, the original footage I created was all in 1080p and was pretty much garbage. So what I'm going to do is pretty much just point out the things that will differentiate the installation of this compared to the other big brake kits that you may get, Neotech or the N Performance big brake kits, the Fella, or any other potential big brake kit you'll want to get for the Elantra N. However, I'm doing the STOLZ because it's one that I haven't really seen much about, or I've seen sellers on, the Facebook forums for Elantra N, Reddit. However, I've never seen anybody actually talk about them or have like a first-person analysis of it or anything like that. So decided, hey, might as well jump in, get it, and see what will happen. Well, what's the worst it could do? It's not going to kill me, so might as well benefit some other people and possibly giving them something to look at besides the big three. So let's get into some of the differences and things that you may want to keep in mind if you get this kit for your Elantra N. STOLZ offers two big brake kits for the Elantra N. One's the 380 size, one's the 350 size. The 350 is the size I purchased because I run 18-inch wheels. So I purchased this one. However, with that, I did find that in the test fitting on my passenger side, I noticed that the brake line here in the actual caliper itself, it normally is straight, but I had ended up having to bend it in so it could clear the 18-inch wheel. I'm not sure what wheel specs they were running for their tests when they created this kit for the N, but I have a plus 35 wheel on mine, so I think they're probably looking at what, 42 to 48 range probably will have clearance, but I have a 35. And I had just had make a small bend here and it completely clears everything now, but it was sort of off-putting, or not off-putting, but disappointing to say that straight out the bat I had to make a modification to the system itself just to make it fit onto an 18 where the kit is supposedly good for 18s, but it does, but I shouldn't have to modify anything for it. But the whole caliper itself clears fine. It was just this one piece here. If it was probably shorter, if they built them in shorter, it would clear like a champ. However, I did have to make a bend just to make it for the front end piece to clear off the rim so it's not rubbing against anything. But let's go on to some other things I've noticed or found about this kit. So as I mentioned before, this line is the one that's going to, point right here is going to probably be an issue if you have plus 35 18-inch wheels. Not sure about the 40s. Would have to, someone with a 40-inch rim, if they have this kit, please chime in. But I ended up having to bend it. Use this tool here. Got from Harbor Freight, 10 bucks. Probably get it on sale because Harbor Freight loves their sales or coupons. But it's real easy. Just clamp in and just bend it just a little bit and no issues. Total clearance achieved. And it looks great with the wheels on. In fact, let's go ahead and see what it looks like with the wheels on. All right. So for the screws itself that hold the rotor into place, you'll want a Phillips head size 3 bit. And probably if you have one of these tools, I got mine off AliExpress for like $1. I think they sell them at O'Reilly's and stuff also, but real cheap, came fast, fits perfectly into these screws without too much stress or the potential to strip or anything like that. You'll definitely want a hand tool. You don't want to use the power tool on that. So I found that these are real soft. So Phillips head size 3 works perfectly or fits perfectly, and just hand tighten and loosen these and we'll be good to go. Of course, when you're tightening it, you'll want to probably use 10 to 12 pounds to get it in there nice and good without dripping anything, but you'll want it in there tight, not like 10-year-old boy tight or girl tight. You'll want to put some oomph in it to tighten that bad boy down. So for calipers itself, once you get everything hooked up, you're going to find that the dust shield, it does fit. However, the front end of it, there's an issue with it touching the bracket for the caliper. So what I ended up doing was just bending it back. There's no issues if I turn the wheel or anything like that. So nothing is going to be a catastrophic failure for me or anything like that. And I'm not worried about anything issues with it, but I just bent it back, was able still to keep the shield. There's no interference with the rotor moving or anything like that. So still able to keep that part there. this air deflector, I ended up trimming it a little bit so there's no issues when I make a full turn passenger side or anything, or even on the opposite side I did the same also. But I just trimmed it a little bit so that the caliper itself, it has a millimeter of space between it and the original full air deflector, but I just trimmed it back a little bit. Still left the airflow there, but you don't really need this if you don't want it. But I kept it. More air can't hurt, so that's one of the things I did. So it's just the bend back of the dust shield and then the trimming of this air deflector. One of the items I found was that the brake line that came with this particular kit is good, I guess, but you're not gonna find, well, shouldn't say you won't find it, but to find a point to a brake line adapter for the hose to clamp onto, you're gonna have to do some little research. I'm still looking for a good brace for it. I found these 13.5 or 3/4 line clamps that go on the line itself. However, trying to bolt that in, I'm not sure about clearance on that, so I may have to create something. Not sure yet. But actually, looking at it, I think I can figure out a way to do this without building something straight from scratch. But again, what many people said, you'll still have this sensor where to connect that to. But once I figure this part out, the sensor is going to be a piece of cake. But even right now, as is, I'm turning the wheel and stuff. There's no, you can see right here. Oh, well, I don't know. I'm definitely going to need to build an adapter or something for it. But if you don't buy separate lines with this kit, which there are plenty available, but I'll try to use the lines they gave me. But if worse comes to worse, I'll just buy a line kit that has the adapter to hook everything up to it. But running a line wasn't that bad. So when you're bleeding the brakes, which you'll have to do, of course, this is the inlet and this is the outlet. You're going to want to do that on all wheels. Even if you keep the stock wheels or stock rear brakes, you still want to bleed everything. If you watch the KDM Station big brake in performance brake kit video, they did a great job. Henry did a great job explaining how to take the actual stock brakes off the end. However, again, this is a STOLZ kit. Did find there's a lot of differences between that kit and this one. But one thing's the same. When you're bleeding brakes, you're bleeding all the brakes. Air does not care what kind of kit you have. So make sure you bleed your brakes. So as I mentioned before, actually several times, you can tell I bent it right here. And now with that little minor adjustment, wheel moves perfectly fine, forwards and backwards, not scratching on anything. Of course, yes, I know it's 3 lugs in there, but that's just to get the wheel up there. I still need to bleed the brakes, but hey, can't complain. It looks nice, fills in real well. Pull back some more. Look how that. Of course, you see the stock rotor there. It looks real nice. I like it. Overall, I would give the kit itself an 8 out of 10, just due because you'd have, well, at least for my situation, I had to bend this and also the brake line itself that is provided. I don't know if I could blame that on STOLZ, but not having an adapter for the wheel kit itself, that's a ding for me. Because I know Fella and I believe Neotech have their lines come with adapters that actually connect up to the stock strut. So that's the fact that STOLZ doesn't, and I believe it's a little bit more expensive kit. That's a major knock on them. However, it's a great looking kit, so it's not that. It wouldn't well, depending on who you are. Me, it's not a big issue because I like figuring things out like this. Though for somebody that's like, hey, I don't know, I'm not really technical, I just want to be able to put it on and have no issues, I would avoid this kit. But for those of us that tinkering with shit, this is fine. Well, that was the STOLZ kit. Right now, I only think you could buy it from that one particular vendor on Facebook groups or eBay. But once I bleed the brakes, I may have a video, but I don't think I'll put it on YouTube. I'll put it on my Instagram, FLCL_TX, Fully Coolly Texas, where pretty much I just cover everything about this car and everything I've done to it. A lot of new stuff getting ready to get added to the vehicle. I just added the Luxon stabilizers all over the car, or under the car, I should say. And then I have to once I get the new Turbo Bay turbo, that'll be going in. And then finally getting new tunes from N75. There's a lot of stuff coming up. I'll probably document a lot of it more on Instagram than on YouTube. Unless it's like badass, like a flame tune or something. But of course, who knows? But 100% be on Instagram. So talk to you guys later. Chill out. Peace out. You matter.